SUDA Pharmaceuticals, based in Australia, and is a world leader in reformulating and delivering medication through the oral mucosa. Dr. Michael Bakers, the CEO of SUDA Pharmaceuticals Limited, joins us here in the studio. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thanks very much for having me, Aaron.
Well, absolutely. What do you guys do?
So we're an ASX-listed biotech company, and what we have is a platform technology called the RMS platform, and we specialise in taking drugs from solid dose forms and converting them into oral sprays.
Right, and obviously oral sprays are a lot easier for people to use.
Absolutely, absolutely, but not just easier to use. We see that there are a number of benefits in terms of if you're able to spray it directly into the mouth, it actually enters the bloodstream a lot faster than if you were to take, say, a pill, a tablet or a capsule.
Well, I'm an asthma sufferer, so I've been very much used to Ventolin and the effects of it. Does it work faster by taking it through oral rather than taking it as medication?
Absolutely, and when you say medication,
well, as a pill.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
So what we see is when a pill is taken, it goes through the digestive tract, it is degraded in the stomach, and it also undergoes first pass metabolism in the liver. So we see about somewhere between 10 to 30% of the pill is what we call bioavailable, whereas if we're working with an oral spray, because it's transporting straight across that lining of the cheek or under the tongue, we see it get into the bloodstream a lot faster, and so patients get far quicker onset of action, and that's really important for treatments for, say, insomnia or migraine.
What sort of medications are we talking about? You speak of insomnia and migraine. Obviously, they're two of the most prevalent and most common. So just talk to us about some of the people who'd be, I guess, able to use this.
Yeah, so it's a range of people, and again, it does depend on the conditions that we're treating, but we do have products under development for a range of different areas. So as I touched on, we have a product called sumatriptan, which we're developing in partnership with a large Indian pharmaceutical company, Strides Pharma, for the treatment of migraine. Zolpamist, which is for the treatment of short-term insomnia. We've got products that we're developing in the medical grade cannabis space, and really I'm excited by a project that we've got for repurposing a product that was previously used for decreasing platelet levels in patients, and we're repurposing that for use in cancer.
So how do you repurpose? Do you have to get the license in the first place? How does it all work from that perspective? Because obviously you can't just grab a pill, crush it down, turn it into a spray. How does it all work?
No, exactly. And so what we typically look to do is to create partnerships with pharmaceutical companies in order to work with a product that they've already got under development, or we particular products on our own, work to see if we can get them into a particular state that's suitable for an oral spray formulation, and then take that to prospective partners. So for an example, we've got a partnership that we entered into last year with large pharmaceutical company Sanofi to take one of their products and see if we can convert that into an oral spray.
How willing have they been to hand that over, and does it include the IP, etc., or how does it work?
For those ones, it doesn't always include the IP, but again, because it provides an avenue for them to create an extension of their particular product, it is quite attractive for them. So if they've got leading consumer brands or consumer products, provided we can do the reformulation work and get them into an oral spray, it's a great way for those pharmaceutical companies to differentiate and create what we would almost call a super generic in that sense.
You mentioned the liver earlier, and there are a lot of people who avoid medication because they're concerned about the lasting impacts on their body. Taking it as an oral medication, does it make it as an oral spray? Does it make it any better in terms of how your body adapts to it and accepts it?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's something we're very keen to explore, because if you take a medication through the liver, as you rightly point out, it can be metabolised and even converted into toxic intermediates. And so for one of the products that we're working on, Negrolide, which is we're repurposing for use in cancer, that's exactly what we see. If you take the pill form, it actually gets converted into a cardiotoxic intermediate, so it's quite bad for the heart. So by repurposing it into an oral spray and getting it straight into the bloodstream, we can avoid some of those side effects. In addition, it actually means, because we're getting the drug straight into the bloodstream, we are able potentially to dose patients with less drug. And so again, that means that because we're adding less to patients, we might see an improved safety profile.
Medicinal cannabis is an interesting one because obviously has a weird reputation because of the word cannabis in there as well. A lot of people kind of fearful that we're going to end up with a whole bunch of potheads. Do you think that the spray aspect will kind of help get it across the line to people who maybe have been a little bit worried about using it? And we've seen a couple of articles over the past week that medicinal cannabis hasn't been as successful in Australia as people were thinking it would be.
Okay, interesting. I haven't seen those articles, but certainly the way I look at it is once we take the active components from the particular cannabis plants, we're no longer talking about recreational drugs. So I think that's the first point to get across. And certainly if we can get these products into oral sprays. It just means we've got a better way of delivering those products so they get into the bloodstream faster and work more effectively. So we've got partnerships in place with 2 medical grade cannabis companies, Zalira Therapeutics and Can Pharmaceuticals, and so we are working with them to create those products as oral sprays. Again, it's a great way for these players to differentiate if they've got those products available in a superior dosing method.
Obviously, supply issues are an issue for everybody at the moment, given what's happening in China. Has that been affecting you guys?
Not as yet, but certainly something we're mindful of. Just making sure that we've got all the reagents we require to do our drug development internally is important, and something we'll be watching over the coming weeks.
It's incredible, isn't it, hearing pharmacies say that they're running out of stocks and their suppliers are running out of stocks because, just like toilet paper, people are rushing in, getting all their medicine, worried that things will run out or that they'll be put into quarantine. I often wonder about companies like yourself, about how they deal with just trying to get supplies for themselves. Is it a bit different to what consumers go through?
It's a little bit different, and again, because our products are still in the research and development phase, we do have a little bit more flexibility, and we're not trying to get products out into market, so it's not as time critical, but certainly having access to our raw materials and our supplies for the R&D work is critical.
What's your market cap at the moment? How's that all going?
So our market cap's around 8 million, so we see that it is undervalued considering the number of exciting partnerships that we've got. So Sanofi I mentioned, Teva, the world's largest generic drug manufacturer, a large, well-known Spanish pharmaceutical company, Ordesa, as well as top 5 pharma, Mitsubishi. So it's exciting that we've got all those partnerships in place, and through 2020 we are expecting a fair bit of positive news flow. So we're hoping to see that lift over the course of the year.
Well, it would be very good to have some positive news at the moment. Thanks so much for your time.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for having me, Aaron.